These are not just sculptural works of art, but they're also instruments that are playable. Is that right?
At first, I was making just sort of bastard horns, not unlike Ross on Roland Kirk would have made, and they were just so I could get different sounds. So they were more beholden to the sounds they made than their sculptural aspects. But at a certain point, I started making more and more instruments as sculptures. So their sculptural quality and their sound qualities were both really important, and eventually made them so they were wearable, which just brought the human figure into play into it.
Does the audience play any role in the installation, or are there walls being crossed? Lines being broken?
At the Copagan stage, there will be some walls being broken. The not as much as in some of my other installation oriented pieces because of literally location. Because this is a proscenium arched theater piece, but there will be two people documenting the piece that are also part of the piece. So there's a videographer and a photographer that will constantly be documenting my piece, but they're also in costume and part of the piece. And this inherently makes even any audience member question what their role is, because if the videographer is part of it and he's entered from literally out in the audience, they have to wonder if ultimately if they are part of it as light hits them, or as they question why I'm playing these songs in this way with these people and performing this weird ceremony. I think it'll bring them in. It's a form of maximalism that's sort of a modern hallmark in art, where you're trying to expand the performance both in time and place beyond its normal means.
Do you want to say anything else about the musical aspect of it, or jazz as part of these installations?
It's interesting for me because I work quite tirelessly at sculpting horns and making the installation, because it's newer to me and I have to work harder at it. It's funny, then it becomes sort of a bed for the thing that I'm really familiar with. I've played improvised music for years, but what's interesting is to me is when I get to that point where now I'm improvising with these people in these costumes, that I really will view that moment. I know that I'm achieving at least part of what I'm trying to achieve, because I have changed my perception. I am playing something different than I would normally play at that moment. I can sense that, but it's also sort of comforting that the final act for me, the actual performative act, is one of improvisation, which is what I'm most comfortable with and arguably most deft at.
A passion play and a ceremony. Can you expand on that idea?
Yes, as I was developing the Urban Noise Camp, I started to write some really simple, beautiful tunes about the moon, and more specifically about going to war for the moon. That all comes from really a pacifist at heart, but what would you go to war for? And Andrei Kudrescu, sort of famous essayist and on NPR all the time, he had a great essay about, also a pacifist, how he would go to war for the moon, though. They were talking about launching satellites like Nike swooshes or whatever that would circle the planet, and he would actually be the person that would take up arms to make sure that the moon would be the only thing orbiting the Earth in the night sky. And so I wanted it to be something both, people worship the moon much longer than most things. It's maybe one of the first things that, captivated humanity beyond, it's the nearest heavenly body. And so I started writing these really simple, beautiful songs, trying to embody that, so that it would be something I would really believe in, because I want them to be, even if it seems slightly absurd, I want it to be truly something that I'm passionate about. So I ended up writing these songs about loving how the moon's out during the day and wanting to go to war for it, because I wanted to see how just that sort of simple love of something and then turning it into a ceremony where the simplest little things that, like campers waking up and stretching and brushing their hair, and us, and playing sort of ceremonial songs and ceremonial horns, how all that would, again, make me think about the music or imbue it with something else or make it feel even deeper or more important to me, as I'm doing it, because this might be just as real a ceremony as any other ceremony. It might be, to me, much more of an actual passion play for me than what is commonly considered a passion play. So that's the idea. Like, what do these religious fetishisms and all the sort of ceremony that comes with that, how can that yet further sort of affect the objects, the ritual objects, like the horn or the music or the song itself?
Well, we're really looking forward to seeing it, Mark. Thanks for talking about this.
Thank you very much for talking to me.
You need to get that phone. It might be somebody from the Mongol Beach Party.
It might be. Those guys!